What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and man, there has been a lot unfolding in the last 24 hours with Build Back Better, stimulus, economic agendas, and everything happening in Congress. And I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. As you guys know here on the channel, just give you the facts, read right off the articles, cite all my sources so you know it's the latest actual news. And take a look at this headline coming out, you guys. We're going to be reading from this one. It's going to introduce us to the new stimulus package. And it says, a vibrant economy guarantees U.S. national security during troubled and turbulent times. Now, the article very quickly says, President Biden's first State of the Union address was a celebration of America's and Europe's steely resolve to resist Russian aggression, and a eulogy for his big, bold Build Back Better plan to fundamentally reshape and reinvigorate an ailing economy. Now, here it is, you guys. On Tuesday, the president repurposed elements of the Build Back Better into a new plan, which he calls Building a Better America. And this is going to be the new stimulus package. The new plan is a solid step to move our economy forward, but it's not nearly as transformative or as comprehensive as its predecessor, the Build Back Better bill. Now, you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the details. Here's another article that came out. Biden reframes economic agenda to building a better America. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's great, but how is he going to get this done if he can't get Joe Manchin on board? Well, if you missed my video last night, you might want to check it out, as we heard we have an agreement. Joe Manchin said he is on board, he is willing to negotiate, and he wants to get a bill done. As a matter of fact, he's helping write it right now. That is right, you guys. Take a look at this article. I'm going to be sharing with you some details. Manchin says he's ready to negotiate again. Democrats must hold him to it. And this is just within the last 24 hours. All of this has unfolded. Looks like Democrats are going to be passing another stimulus package they're going to be agreeing upon. We will see what provisions are included, all the details as they come out. I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. Now, we will see also, we've heard that there could be more packages coming, possibly more direct payments to people, more money for businesses, more money to help combat the pandemic. And we're going to be seeing what the requirements are of Joe Manchin in order to get him on board to do this. And I will let you know all the details. But you guys, let's dive right into the latest. Now, before we do, though, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. That small gesture helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this. Share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. And if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, you can come join the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to date on everything going on. And all you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Totally free to come join. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, get you caught up on the latest. All right, you guys, so first up, link in the description below to this article. It's going to be letting us know Manchin's stance on everything and what's unfolding. Now, just want to give you a heads up. I try to keep everything neutral and leave my opinions out of it, but this article is going to be slanted a little bit against Manchin and his negotiations so far. You'll see, but just take the facts. All right, so the article says that Manchin says that he's ready to negotiate again, and Democrats must hold him to it. Now, the article says that during President Biden's State of the Union address, Senator Joe Manchin sat with Republicans, which was either a heartwarming gesture of bipartisanship or a cruel troll aimed at his own party. Now, a day later, he engaged in one of his favorite games, hinting that again, he's open to negotiating over a scaled-down package of climate and social spending. Though Democrats might feel tempted to throttle Manchin for the harm that he's done by killing Biden's Build Back Better reconciliation bill, their best option now is to take him at his word and try to hold him to it. To be sure, Manchin greeted Biden's speech by scorning the president's insistence that more spending now might help bring down the costs for ordinary Americans. But now he's again back to saying that he might be open to something that could pass by Senate reconciliation process, which means with only Democrats passing it through with a majority vote. And this, as I mentioned, has all happened in the last 24 hours. The president gave his State of the Union address. We heard Joe Manchin come out and say he didn't know why he was trying to push all of this social spending stuff and saying, listen, no talks have gone on between me and the White House. And just the very next day, like I said, within the last 24 hours, he came out and said, I'm open to negotiating. As a matter of fact, we're going to be drafting up some stuff right now to see what we can pass through. So you guys, looks like he is on board. And yes, as you can see, this article is slightly slanted against him. But reading on, it says, Manchin's latest stance, which he outlined in an interview with Politico, works like this. So here are his requirements. First, he wants everything in the package to be paid for over the long term, so fully paid for. Second, he says that Democrats should get revenue from two sources: tax reform, which is going to be reversing some of the GOP tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations as BBB would have done, and allowing the government to negotiate prices for some prescription drugs and capping some price hikes at inflation, which could save the government hundreds of billions of dollars. And third, he wants to take those savings and split them equally between deficit reduction and spending for climate change. That would still leave a lot of the Build Back Better bill, though, behind, of course. But Democratic aide said that this could potentially be a fruitful opening for negotiations. Via this route, you probably could raise revenue to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on tax incentives and other measures to encourage the manufacture and consumption of alternative energy sources, as the Build Back Better bill would have included. This is the way for saying he is open for business, the aide tells us, adding that if Manchin is serious, we need to take his deal immediately. Now, let me know your thoughts, you guys, but it sounded like they are on board to get something done. Now, but what would this look like? What would this scaled Build Back Better bill or Building America Better bill look like? Well, we still don't have all the details. They're working on it right now, but let me share with you some of the things that President Biden outlined in his speech as he announced this. So, link in the description below to this article that says Biden reframes economic agenda to building a better America. The Build Back Better gave way to building a better America in the president's first State of the Union address, as he revamped his domestic agenda and tailored it to reducing deficits and costs for family. Now, the article says President Joe Biden, during his first State of the Union address, touted several familiar elements of his stalled Build Back Better economic plan, but the central tenets of this revised domestic proposal to target inflation came under a slightly different name on Tuesday evening, called Building a Better America. Now, after months of no progress on his signature agenda, Biden used his address to revamp his expansive social spending and climate proposal and tailor it to more of reducing deficit and costs for families. He characterized inflation as robbing Americans of the gains that they might otherwise feel. Now, the president's plan still aims to lower costs surrounding healthcare, climate change, and education. Like the previous version, Biden is pushing to lower prescription drug costs like insulin, increase funding for home and long-term care, and establish universal pre-kindergarten. But he also made a more noticeable shift to wanting to tackle inflation by reducing costs and increasing wages, something that key Democratic holdout Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia has wanted the party to prioritize, so trying to appeal to Joe Manchin. Biden said that he's hoping to ease inflation by creating more jobs and goods in America instead of reliance on foreign supply chains, which have exacerbated the problem, especially during the pandemic. Now, the latest version is likely to appeal to both moderates and progressives. Progressives like AOC of New York stood up and applauded when Biden talked about climate change by creating tax credits to boost energy efficiency and investing in clean energy. However, the amplified focus of cost reduction speaks to the pleas of both Manchin and vulnerable Democrats up for re-election this fall who want their party to more urgently address inflation. Even with a rebounding economy and record job growth, Democrats worry the persistence of rising costs could further hurt them in the November midterm elections when their House and Senate majorities are at stake. And that is one of the things to take into consideration as well, definitely. This year is midterm elections, which means that if Democrats want to stay in power and in control entirely of Congress like they have right now in the Senate, the House, and the presidency, they're going to need to appeal to the American people, and they're going to need to find out what is it that Americans want, and we need to see if we can give it to them, and that way they can be convinced to keep us in power and re-elect us in the midterm elections. Let me know your thoughts. And that is actually one of the main reasons why I personally don't think there are any provisions that are off the table. That's just opinion, though. That is why I think that we still could see possibly stimulus checks or other provisions, because they need to convince Americans to keep them in power, and they're going to need to pass provisions and get things done likely right before midterm elections to convince people to keep them in place. But we will see, and I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. Now, reading on, it says, any version of Build Back Better would significantly be pared down and inevitably cut out core priorities for Democrats. Now, later in his speech, Biden also name-checked passing key provisions included in the original social safety net package, like the expanded child tax credit, saying, listen, still want to get that done. Also, $15 per hour minimum wage, and also paid family leave. Biden's emphasis on early education and childcare on Tuesday night, however, signals what he envisions to be a larger part of a revised package, and it comes at a time when his administration has been increasingly pressing Congress to take it on as a standalone bill. So, trying to get done with a package, likely get passing more packages, and whatever they can do, trying to get standalone bills to get pushed through as well. So you guys, we're going to be getting more details, but this is what we have thus far. A little bit vague, but we have what looks like a name, and we're hearing there's progress to get this passed, and I'm expecting there's going to be a whole lot more. As they mentioned, midterm elections are this year, and Democrats are going to do everything in their power to stay in power. So you guys, that is the latest. A lot unfolding in the last 24 hours as we have President Joe Biden with his State of the Union address coming out and saying there's going to be a new stimulus package building a better America. We're hearing Joe Manchin chastising him during the speech, and then the next day coming out and saying, you know what, we're going to do this and I'm going to help draft it up. We're hearing progress is being made, and we're going to get more details about this new bill, bills to come, and also, like I said, midterm elections this year. So you guys, I'll keep you up to date. Looks like things are picking up once again with stimulus, and I'll let you know all the details as they unfold. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button. That simple gesture helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.